They're talking
for
about
seniors.
What you would do as president as being a risk. They're honing in on you. Why do you think that is? How do you respond to those attacks? That's not about policy, that's about you.
Listen, this is not new. There's nothing new about that. They feel the need to attack because they're scared that we will win based on the merit of the work that Joe Biden and I and our administration has done.
But even Democrats are worried about the president's age. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day.
Meanwhile,
he's a lion, dog-faced pony soldier. Well, there's a lot of lion, dog-faced pony soldiers out there about global warming. But not anymore. All of a sudden, we're all realizing it's a problem. And there's nothing like seeing the light.
Are you taking the threat of a second Trump presidency seriously enough?
I don't understand the question.
You were dismissive of some of the Republican criticism of you and the president. When you look at current polling, the front runner for a Republican nomination is the former president, the 45th president.
We will win re-election.
We
will win re-election. There is too much at stake, and the American people know it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Kamala Harris, who is getting a lot of media attention. A lot of people are talking about her because there is a significant possibility that she could be commander-in-chief of the United States, either via, something tragically happening to Biden, or he steps down while he's still president, or he basically decides not to run again and Kamala takes his place as the Democrats' nominee. Again, a lot of people, are speculating that Kamala could be up next. So she's getting a whole lot of questions about if she's ready to be commander-in-chief. I don't think that she is. She's clearly not presidential. Even Democrats don't think that she's presidential. That's why she was basically hated in the primary. But I don't think that Democrats have a better option at this point. I really don't. I don't think they have a better option. And that is why you're seeing the pressure now being put on Kamala. And a part of the pressure being put on Kamala is the fact that Democrats have an extremely radical agenda. And part of that agenda is actually being called out here by Miss Margaret Brennan, who presses Kamala on the Democrats and their radical agenda when it comes to this topic of abortion, because Democrats have denied the Republicans' accusations that they are for abortion up until, and in some cases, even after birth, Democrats claim that that's not true, So Margaret Brennan actually does a rare job, of being a good journalist and actually confronts Kamala on where the Democrats stand in regards to that issue. And Kamala goes into full-blown word salad because she really doesn't want to answer this question for whatever reason. Take a look.
So what is it that you believe? What week of pregnancy should abortion access be cut off?
We need to restore the protections of Roe versus Wade.
We're
not trying to do something new.
Well, that was nebulous because it was about viability, which could be anywhere between 20 to 24 weeks.
No. Let me be very clear.
The Women's Health Protection Act that the White House also endorsed.
Let me be very clear. From day one, the president has been clear. I have been clear. We need to put back the protections that are in Roe v. Wade into law. Since the Supreme Court took it, Congress has the power and ability to pass legislation to put those protections back in law, and Joe Biden will sign that bill. So that is what we want.
But does it need to be specific in terms of defining and where that guarantee goes up to and where it does not? At which week of pregnancy?
We need to put back in place the protections of Roe versus Wade.
You know why I'm asking you this question, though, because
we're not trying to do anything that did not exist before June of last year. We are saying
it wasn't crafted into law. And that's why I'm asking you for the specifics there, because Republicans say the lack of a precise date in cutting it off. You know this. They say that allows Democrats to perform abortions up until, birth.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is statistically not accurate.
And it's ridiculous.
I understand
and
that.
it's a mischaracterization of the point. No, the point is...
But
the
do
point
you need
is
to be
we
more
have
precise?
I am being precise. We need to put into law the protections of Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, so what is amazing to me about these mainstream liberal media journalists, right? And you guys can see the difference between how they handle somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy versus somebody like Kamala Harris, okay? A Democrat who they agree with versus somebody who they don't agree with politically. Margaret Brennan was actually doing a decent job of being a journalist because she was asking Kamala about what is clearly the Democrats and their radical agenda on abortion, right? They want abortion up until, and in some cases after birth. The reason why we know, because these are the same people that was boohoo, whining, and crying when Republicans put forth a bill to require health care to a baby who survives a botched abortion. And Democrats, again, melted down over this, okay? They apparently thought that, hey, if a baby survives during a botched abortion, then medical providers should not be required to actually try to keep the baby alive.
The problem with this bill is not that it makes anything, that it is not that it provides any new protections for infants. The problem with this bill is that it endangers some infants by stating that that infant must immediately be brought to the hospital, where, depending on the circumstances, that may be the right thing to do for the health and survival of that infant, or it may not. That is the problem with this bill. It directs and mandates a certain medical care which may not be appropriate, which may endanger the life of an infant in certain circumstances. That's why we oppose this bill.
Yeah, so Democrat logic, right? Providing health care to a baby that survives a botched abortion apparently is putting the infant's life in danger. Again, that's Democrat logic. So Margaret Brennan knows, she knows in her head where Democrats actually stand on this issue. And she is doing a good job as a journalist of pressing Kamala on the issue. But she loses points because when Kamala refuses to answer, she gives the word salad talking about, well, we want to legislate Roe v. Wade back into existence. Margaret knows that, well, you're still not answering the question of where's the cutoff? What is the cutoff date? But then turns around and agrees with Kamala and pushes this lie that there are no Democrats that support abortion up until birth, when there are Democrats who have went on the record and stated that that is, in fact, what they do support.
So nail down for me then, how do you define, because up till now, my understanding is there wasn't a limit on when in a pregnancy a woman could receive an abortion. Have you set any limit on
There are no limits. So for us...
That's very
for me,
controversial.
it can be. I mean, look, it's the 1% of all abortions, and that's still a sizable number of abortions worldwide.
1% over 21 weeks of pregnancy.
Correct.
Do you support any restrictions on abortion?
I don't. I've always believed...
Even in the third trimester?
I believe that choice is between a woman, her doctor, and a God if she prays to one.
Here's what Virginia's governor did say.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
He's announced his strong support for passage of the Women's Health Protection Act, urges Congress to pass it.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? If you guys notice, the first clip that I played was an interview that Margaret Brennan, who did this interview with Kamala Harris, she did an interview with Democratic governor of New Mexico, in which in this interview, the Democratic governor told her to her face that, yeah, I support abortion up until birth. I don't think there should be any limits. Now, Margaret Brennan, who did an interview, turns around in the interview with Kamala Harris and basically tries to run cover for Kamala because Kamala doesn't want to answer her question, and tries to say, well, it's ridiculous to think that Democrats would support abortion up until birth, when she's literally interviewed Democrats who do that, right? Who do believe that. Again, this is how the mainstream liberal media works, guys. Even when they're pretending to be tough, they're still looking out for the Democrats that are interviewing to try to make sure that nobody takes away from the interview that Democrats have these extreme positions. Okay, they're going to ask about it, give Democrats a chance to try to clarify where they're at, but they're going to make sure that nobody comes away with this idea that Democrats actually do support these extreme positions that Republicans are accusing them of. Again, it's just amazing. When you're paying attention to how the mainstream liberal media operates, you can see how clearly biased they are and the tricks that they pull to try to make Democrats look sane when Democrats are not sane. You know who actually is sane on this issue? You actually have a Republican who's sane on this issue, and this is probably one of the only things that she's probably sane on, and I kind of agree with her on, which is Nikki Haley, okay, who at the GOP debate, I think actually gave a politically reasonable answer, if you actually want to win a general election, that is, when it comes to this issue of abortion, which is basically that, hey, it should be left to the states. We won on Roe v. Wade, and regardless of our own personal opposition to abortion, let's not push politically extreme positions like the Democrats are doing so that we can actually win back the Senate, expand our lead in the House, and ultimately take back the White House.
We need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people. That's great. When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion? Let's treat this like a respectful issue that it is, and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation.
Yeah, so again, regardless of my personal opinions on that issue, what Nikki Haley is saying is probably part of the reason why she's doing better than most GOP candidates in the general election polls. Now, a lot of people have asked questions specifically about that CNN poll that showed Nikki Haley up over Biden by like 7 points, right? I mean, they're talking about her as if she is clearly the strongest GOP candidate for the general election against Biden. Again, I'm not necessarily sure if that's true, but I do think that she probably does have more general election appeal than a lot of GOP candidates, because she is not pushing something that I really think could tank the GOP in 2024 based off what we saw in 2022, which is trying to issue a nationwide abortion ban. Okay, I don't think that that's the move. Okay, I really don't think that's the move. Again, regardless of my own personal opinions, okay, I'm trying to win. Okay, and Democrats clearly cannot come out here and give you a straight answer on if they support abortion up until birth, because they do. Okay, and the only thing that the GOP needs to do is put out a message, kind of like the message that Nikki Haley is putting out there, that, hey, look, it's up to the states in regards to what they want to do, but we're just not for extreme stuff, right? We're not for extreme stuff that most American people don't agree with, right? They don't agree with the extreme stuff. If the GOP can just stay there, right, and don't go too far with this issue, a place they don't need to go, like, again, calling for a federal ban, right? I think that the GOP can prevent what happened in 2022, where you had a bunch of single women who literally voted just because of this issue, because they were afraid that the GOP is going to ban abortion on a national level, or basically just ban it in their state, period. You can avoid that issue happening, in which they come out and vote just based off that issue in 2024. Because I do believe that is the one thing that can tank Republicans, because these voters, these single young women, they don't give a damn about nothing else, okay? They don't give a damn about the economy, crime, the board, nothing. They don't give a damn. They don't care about having a vegetable in office as long as they keep their so-called right to abortion. And they will vote solely based off that. So again, I personally believe that Republicans on this issue, is probably one of the most important issues, need to take notes from Nikki Haley. And I don't like the fact that I'm saying this, but it's true. They need to take notes from Nikki Haley and just chill out with the extreme stuff, right? They need to just be like, look, this is where we're at. It's a state issue. We're against extreme stuff. And that's it, right? That's it. Leave it at that. Try not to talk about it as much as you can, okay? Just don't talk about it, okay? Because it's not an issue that the GOP really should be talking that much about. They need to be talking more about other things in which the Biden administration is failing on and presenting some solutions there. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.